Please be seated. The court is now in session. I hand over the floor to Counsel for Nguyen Chia to resume questioning. If you still have further questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just responding to the objection to the prosecution on this particular actress. The document that I'm referring to, D157.7, refers to an actress, correct? But on that same page, it says that she acted in two movies entitled one, Time to Cry, and the second movie was Will Any Woman Not Cry? Now it turns out that the movie Crying Time or Time to Cry is a very famous movie in Cambodia, and there were two actresses starring in that movie, Kim Nova and a woman called Vikara Dari. Vikaradani, I hope I pronounce it well. And as you can see, there is a name, at least Vikara, a husband's name. There are only two actresses, or leading actresses in that movie. So whether we are dealing with Kim Nova or her co-supporting star, we don't know. But that's something that I would like to try to find out. So the objection, saying that I'm talking about some random actress, that's not correct. She's the leading actress together with Kim Nova, possibly, in that movie. So I think my questions are not only relevant because of this document, but also because this witness has testified as to the detention and execution of a very famous actress starring in that particular movie. So could I please continue? Mr. Witness, you...
President, please wait, Counsel. You now proceed, Judge Lavanya.
I believe that we'll have to read in more detail this document, because if the names of the films in which this actress starred, one can deduce that, in fact, it is a Nuklina who's referred to. Her husband is called Prak Vishara. I don't know, but Counsel Koppe, there seems to be no uncertainty over this. And in fact, it is Kim Nova that is referred to. So if you have any doubts, perhaps you can express them more explicitly. However, the manner in which you are asking your questions is highly problematic.
Well, I haven't actually seen the movies, but it seems that there are two starring actresses in this movie, and I'm just trying to figure out which one of the two actresses he in fact claimed he saw at Krang Tachan. Was it Kim Nova, or was it the other actress, Vikara Dari? I think, to be honest, I wasn't even referring to the document. I was asking the witness open questions as to what happened to that film actress.
President, you have the floor. Lead co-lawyer.
Thank you, President. Just before the break, I think the civil party was very clear. He did not recognize the actress because he wasn't well versed in cinema. However, somebody told him of the identities of the actors. I do not know what the relevance of that line of questioning is, because the civil party didn't recognize the actress. I'm not sure why we need to continue on this avenue.
President, please listen to the question posed by counsel. You are required to raise your objection specifically to the question. Otherwise, it is a kind of disturbance to the time for counsel.
So again, I'm not referring to the document, but I'm asking a question again as to the actress, the female actor that you saw entering Krang Tachan. I would just again like you to describe what you saw with this female prisoner, what happened to her. I'm being sabotaged, Mr. President. It's enough is enough, really.
President, civil party, please do not respond to the question. I reminded before the break already that you do not need to give your answer to the question which have already been asked. Please be seated, lead co-lawyer, and Mr. Kope, you may now proceed with your questioning.
Mr. President, is your ruling that I'm not allowed to ask questions about the execution of this actress?
President, I decided already that your last question is a repetitious one because you have already asked before the break. I recall that question. And I have already reminded you that you should separate your question into parts, and you are allowed to ask only the question which have not provided the answers from the civil party. And I observed that you insisted on asking the same question from civil party. So I asked civil party not to respond to your last question. Your repeated question is not leading to ascertaining the truth.
I'm not sure which questions I am repeating. I'm asking questions about the execution of an apparently very famous actress. Everybody, a lot of people in Cambodia would like to know exactly what happened to this woman. So I'm asking a general question. I haven't asked that before. What exactly happened when he saw this actress come in? He hasn't answered that question yet. So my very simple question is, did you see that actress come in? Was she detained? How long was she detained? Was she interrogated? Was she then brought back? Was she executed? Did you see the execution? All those questions I haven't been able to ask yet.
President, civil party, you do not need to provide your answer to the question. You have already answered to all the questions which have been just asked. Mr. Kope, you may put other question, otherwise I assume that you run out of question.
Fine, Mr. President. Mr. Witness, do you know what the official name was of Krang Tachan?
Answer, I did not know. I know only the name Krang Tachan.
Have you ever seen papers, documents, anything on it, anything with the name of the place that you were detained on it?
Answer, no.
Do you agree that the place that you say that you were detained was a re-education office? Or a re-education center or a re-education site?
Answer, no, I did not know about this. What I knew is that it is named as Krang Tachan Security Office or Prison.
So you never heard anybody, not even one of the guards, speak about the name of the place that you say you were detained?
Answer: no, I never heard.
Do you know if people who were sent to Krang Tachan were re-educated?
Answer: no, I also did not know about this.
Just to be sure, you never heard from any of the guards or from Ta'an or from anybody that the purpose of this place was to re-educate people?
Answer: I never knew about it, and I have also never heard about it.
Mr. Witness, you said, or you testified that you know Ta'an, that you spoke to him. I can mention the name because Ta'an is dead. Can you say something more about your conversations with Ta'an?
Answer: I did not say anything with Ta'an. Ta'an asked me to bring the sour palm juice and to tend water buffalo, and I talked with him only the duties I worked in that place.
Maybe you can explain something to me, Mr. Witness. This chamber has ruled in its judgment that CPK shrouded itself in secrecy. People were lured into doing things. Everything was being kept secret. Re-education camps were being kept secret. However, you were allowed to enter this re-education center at your free will. You were allowed to tend the cows, the buffaloes, go outside of the premises and come back. Did that not surprise you?
President, the question appears to be incorrect. You misrepresented the testimony of the civil party. Civil party stated already that he did not hear people refer Krang Tachan as the re-education office. I invite counsel to put a proper question, not to confuse the civil party. So please rearrange your last question.
Well, let me then just quote a passage from your judgment, Mr. President. It seems that the DK shrouded itself in secrecy, especially when it comes to the policy of internal and external enemies. However, you were allowed to be in prison, walk out of prison to tend the cows and the buffaloes, come back. My question to you, did that never surprise you in those days?
President, International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Merci.
Thank you, President. It goes without saying that not only does the civil party not have access to the findings of the chamber at the time, he certainly didn't understand what was happening throughout the country from a broader perspective. He didn't understand what was happening. He's not an expert. He cannot speculate. He can only rely on what he knows and what he remembers of what happened at Krang Tachan. He cannot be expected to be confronted with facts that he was simply unaware of.
International Co-Prosecutor, you had a proper basis. The question seems to ask the civil party to speculate, particularly on any events that the civil party did not know. So you are not required to answer to the questions, civil party.
Did you observe yourself that the guards and the leaders of the prison, or the Krang Tacha Security Center, Re-Education Center, were being secretive, that they were trying to hide what was happening in that camp, that they were trying to hide the fact that people were being executed, that people were being interrogated and even possibly tortured. Was that the things that you saw yourself with your own eyes?
Answer: I did not see with my own eyes.
But you saw barbed wire around the premises, loud music was being played to prevent people from seeing executions. Was there anything that you could observe when you were there that indicated that they were being secretive about what they were doing?
Answer: I saw barbed wires, 3 levels of barbed wires, and as for others' information, I did not know.
My question to you is, without any reference to anything, were you not yourself those days surprised that you were allowed to walk in and out of the prison and tend the cows and buffaloes?
Answer: I was fearful at the time while I was tending water buffaloes. So there were 3 levels of fences, and I was tending the water buffaloes outside the fence.
But did Ta'an of any of the guards tell you you're not allowed to speak to people outside of the premises of Krang Tachan?
Answer: there were no people living around the prison, so I could not see any people living in that area.
Is your testimony that nobody lived in, let's say, a parameter of 5 to 10 kilometers around Krang Tachan between 75 and 79?
Answer: outside the parameters of Krang Tachan Security Office, I did not see a resident living outside the parameters, in the parameter of 5 or 6 kilometers away from the prisons, and I did not see people walk in and out of the prisons.
But, Mr. Witness, you have testified to the investigators of the investigating judge. You have indicated where you lived in the years after, very close by to Krang Tachan. I've seen a map. I've been there. There are many little villages around Krang Tachan. Is that not correct?
President, Counsel, please quote exactly the specific information you have just raised. And I remind you again, please quote or mention EON numbers and document numbers so that we can follow to what you have just asked and whether or not you have the basis for your question.
Mr. President, I'm asking the witness general knowledge, not necessarily based on any document, just about the villages that are surrounding Krang Tachan. My question to him is he saying now that there are no villages between 75 and 79 around Krang Tachan? That is my question is not based on any document, it's just based on his experience and his knowledge.
President, you said very clearly that you refer to the statements before OCIJ. You have referred to the question in. You have referred to the document in your question. That is why we observed that you sometimes misrepresented the information in documents. As a result, there is confusion in the questioning.
Fine, Mr. President, I will look up for you the site identification report from the investigators of the OCIJ. That is document D125/220, English ERN 00363337. That's a document extensively citing Mr. Sai Sen, and attached to this site identification report is a map. And on this map it says that very close by, that is map D125/220.36, ERN 00363332. I'm sorry, I don't have the Khmer number right now. It's a map showing Krang Tachan 2 kilometers away, 3 kilometers away, what appears to be the home of this witness, the home of Sai Sen, it says. And around it, even closer by sometimes, are numerous villages between Road 3 and Road 33. So my question again is, isn't it true, Mr. Witness, that there are villages around Krang Tachan? And weren't they afraid that you might talk to people?
President, International Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor. I once again remind you to mention specifically the map. I guess the map has just been drawn, and I understand that the question should be involved with the period of decay that the civil party had experienced. You have the floor now, International Co-Prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. You are right. Nowhere on the map is there any specification of the date at which the map was drawn up. In any event, when Council Kope states that we see Sai Sen's house is about 2 or 3 kilometers from Krang Tachan, if you look at the scale which is noted at the bottom of the map, there seems to be one can safely assume that the house was located much further than 5 kilometers from there. Council Kope also says that there were also a number of villages surrounding Krang Tachan, and according to this map, I think that Council Kope is confused and fails to see that there are some phnoms, there are hills, there are at least 5 or 6 hills surrounding Krang Tachan. There are not a great number of villages. There is perhaps a couple of villages that are located some 10 kilometers away from the security center. I would ask that the reality as depicted on this map not be distorted.
President, Council, please rearrange your question based on the document D125/220. The map was drafted by OCIJ in 2008. So it perhaps does not reflect the real location at the time of Krang Tachan, which civil party had experienced in the period of 1975 to 1979.
Mr. President, I surely don't I'm not claiming to be an expert on Cambodian topography. However, I see numerous villages in a circle of 2 or 3 kilometers around Krang Tachan. I'd be happy to mention them for you, but I find that a rather useless way of going ahead. My question is, are you now saying that there aren't villages in the direct surroundings of Krang Tachan? And if he says yes or no, then that's fine. But there are, in fact, I've been there myself, numerous villages very close by.
Answer. At the present time, there are numerous villages surrounding that area. President, what about during the period of decay period? Were there any villages surrounding Krang Tachan security office, and how many villages were there? Answer. In that period, there were no villagers living surrounding the security office. There was only security office in that place.
Thank you for that answer. Then I go back to my question before that. Were you told by any of the guards or the leaders of the center not to speak to anybody in a range of maybe 10 kilometers or 15 kilometers?
Answer. As I said, there were no villagers living surrounding that area, and as for whether or not other people suggested me anything, like what I said, only some guards there suggested that I should have talked only that we were the same prisoners.
Mr. President, I see it's almost 11:30. I will have a last question to this witness, a question I think I'm entitled to ask and I should ask this witness. It's mandatory for a defense lawyer. Having said that, Mr. Witness, I put it to you that if you were detained at Krang Tachan Center at all, that was very briefly before 17 April 75, and that you were released and never were after the liberation in 1975 in that camp. Is that correct?
Answer. That is not correct. I escaped from the security office in 1979. President, it is now time for lunch break. So the court will resume at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Court officer, please find a proper place for support staff from TPO and for this civil party, and have them returned before 1:30 in the afternoon. Security personnel, you are instructed to bring Mr. Kyu Sampon to the waiting room downstairs and have him returned into the courtroom before 1:30. The court is now adjourned.